Hello everyone and welcome back to Blood Rush League Season 3. This time around we have Silhouette versus Sauna, and we have Silhouette's killer on the Houndmaster, one of my favorite sets, on the Cold Tower 2? Yes, Cold Tower 2. I'm here tonight with my dear caster Lucas. Hello Lucas.
Hello.
And what do you think Lucas? What do you think about Houndmaster on CT2?
Um, well, I have a personal grudge against the killer, but honestly, the map itself is actually pretty decent. It's in terms of maps, it's a pretty basic map. You know, it has a main building, it has shack, it has everything you want, pretty much. Ooh, that is a good focus hit. And for loops, it has it has the normal Macmillan map loops, you know, just high walls and stuff, so it can definitely work out. But the map is a bit bigger than Cold Tower 1, which is it could be annoying for this killer.
That is a pretty good point, I would say. Although keep in mind we do have search mode at our disposal to traverse the map, maybe apply the perk we're seeing here, Dragon's Grip. An interesting perk on Howmaster. I wouldn't necessarily say Dragon's Grip is a perk I would use on her. I would maybe go for something like Eruption, especially with Painless there, and Wretched Fate as well, a very popular perk as of recent. But yeah, I mean, we do see the Hellmaster here just staying around the hook, securing that second stage on our Lori here. Also just making sure, also just checking on that hill gen with the dog. One of the little tricks Hellmaster has going for her, getting that killer instinct to find any kind of stealthy survivors, so just to see where they are. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty basic stuff, I would say, considering the very quick down we had earlier.
Well, it it does seem like the quick down is gonna play a very big role in this match, with the second stage coming in, the survivors only popping the first gen now. Somebody being death hook at 4 gens remaining is kind of bad, especially with with Houndmaster, because she's known to be able to tunnel very well, and it does look like the survivors are gonna try and maybe work on main, or to go for the save. We see Dragon's Grip proccing as well. However, the survivor at main is a very annoying factor in the Houndmaster's gameplay, which she didn't seem to calculate for balanced landing happening. But it seems she's gonna try and camp for the kill confirm. Yonder, do you think she can safely confirm this kill, or is it going to be a bit more difficult?
Well, as you're speaking here, we do see the double save coming in, which, to be fair, that does give our Hellmaster some pressure here. Although we're obviously going to go for the tunnel out, which should be quick considering Hellmaster's, again, very good chase ability here. We have no eye filler, very unfortunate for our Lori here, but we do have the pallet stunning the dog. But we keep in mind, when you stun the dog, you get hindered, so this will not be as good for our Lori here. Although she does use Champion of Light, definitely a good usage of the perk. Very unfortunate here for our Houndmaster, sending the dog into the door frame, but this again should still be a quick down. Unfortunate miss by our Houndmaster here. Definitely going our Lord here trying as hard as possible to buy time for our survivors to reset here, and to obviously go back to those generators. Now, I do want to point out that regardless of how quick this kill here will be, there's still a possibility for Houndmaster to not get that 4K, considering the lack of gen slot. I would say we do still have Wretched Fate, we still have 3 stacks of Painless, but I would still say that that lack of Eruption could definitely be a factor of why our Houndmaster could potentially not get a 4K here. And as I'm speaking, we have one more generator popped.
It does seem like the survivors are putting a bit of pressure on the gens right now, with main being popped, main being a little bit of a safer gen if you have balanced landing, which doesn't seem to be the case for the Ada. However, you have to keep in mind there are still two other survivors here, which will be trying to force out as many gens as possible. If it's gonna work or not, that's gonna be the question. We do see the Ada's successfully evading the dog here, and with Ada being forced to play main right next to yeah, to two gens, it does seem like the pressure will be a bit less unless the survivors are just gonna try and work on the other gens, such as the gens at mid or at Shack, near Shack, which does seem to be the case here. Yeah, Yonder, do you think the that the that the killer is gonna get any real value out of the Dragon's Grip, or is it gonna be a waste of a perk slot?
Well, our survivors are definitely aware of it since Ace poked it earlier. However, I would actually like to talk a bit about our gen spread here. Considering that we have search mode at our disposal, I think this is actually not necessarily the most impossible thing to hold. We do see that generator pop in the distance, but that's probably the furthest away gen from this setup, which in our current state, in the current state of the game, this is pretty strong. Yes, we do not have eruption here, which could have really played a big part in the potential 4K that could have been gotten this game. But I think this will be, how's it called? I think this could still definitely be a lot of stages. But our survivors are definitely playing this very well at the moment. Although to also answer your question, considering that we do have every single survivor healthy, there might be a possibility for a Dragon's Grip play, but who knows?
Yeah, it does seem like the survivors are kind of playing it passively here, with just walking away as soon as the killer looks in the direction of that gen. Um, we do see the very successful dog. That is a very good play. Waiting for the survivor to get rid of the dog for the extra hindered effect of 10%. And are we gonna see a quick down here, or is it gonna be a bit more difficult? The killer is gonna try their best. However, the Renato seems to outplay the dog a little bit here, and so the killer is gonna be forced to leave the Renato and go for the ace instead, getting the injure on the ace, but actually not getting any downs, while the Ada is probably on the gens. That does seem to be the case.
We do see our Hamas here leaving these two survivors to go check on the generator here around the edge map. Oh, we perfectly guess that our Ada here was most likely stealthing around the edge map, considering that there was no real safety around that generator. This has to be a quick down if our Hamaster will commit to this, or else this could be a potential loss already for our killer here. Oh, an extremely good redirect from our Hellmaster. This will most likely be a painless hook if our Hellmaster is lucky with her painless RNG. Let's see. But the hooks are so far away. This might either be last second pop or a last second painless. Let's see what it will be. It's a last second painless. That is extraordinary for our Houndmaster here. We do see the ace. No, my bad. That's not ace. That is Renato, which unfortunately gets the pallet here, although gets hindered. But considering the tile he's at, I don't think that will necessarily do much. We do send our stock here to check on the generator once again. A very real possibility for our ace here to go for this one, which I don't think that was the case, unless I just don't remember the exact progress this generator has. Lucas, do you think our Hellmaster will actually get at least one more kill?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. The situation was looking very much in the survivors' favor, but the survivors have been kind of running away from the gens that were even most active when the killer came to them. So it does look like the survivors are losing a little bit of the pressure. However, as we can see right now, that it does seem to be the case where the what the dog is going so fast, where the killer is actually kind of well speeding up a bit with the pressure, just putting a bit more into the match and trying to maybe make the survivors think a bit more about what they're doing, you know? Since apparently the survivors have been trying really hard to pop 2 gens, but the killer is just defending them very hard at the moment. Probably trying to find the Ada, which she did see there. Yeah, you did see the Ada there. But she doesn't care. Apparently, she's just going back to the gens. It does look a little bit like right now, like the killer is trying to fight a losing battle with 2 gens being high progress and not being able to protect both at the same time. That is gonna be quite unfortunate for our killer if it does play out on the wrong way, because the killer seems to have to kind of commit to one person here. It doesn't seem like they can really they can keep kicking gens, even because of the game mechanic with the gen being blocked. It does look like the Ada is down. Oh, and she might have been injured. I'm not sure. But yeah, the killer's gonna slug. Dragons. Oh yeah. Thank you for that. It was a dragon's grip. We did actually get value out of it. Yonder, did you expect to see some dragon's grip value?
Considering how Master's skilled, I definitely think that she's actually a pretty good user of this perk. After all, you do have the ability to just go back to the generator with search mode, instantly get back your power, and then use your dog to catch the survivor. Unfortunate miss from our Master here. I would like to I would like to say that our Master player here is playing beautifully. Just a bit unfortunate with the last generators here not really being able to defend them. We do see Renato dying here, which is actually extra stages. If we would have picked Ada earlier, it would have been way less stages. So this is actually pretty good. We do have this is our third fresh hook. So overall, our Hardmaster is actually in a pretty good spot, considering the pretty hopeless situation with the generator spread. Very nicely done from our Renato here, just trying to play as safe as possible, buying time for his team. Although I'm not sure, are they gonna try and sacrifice Ada instead of our Renato here? I'm actually not sure what's gonna happen. Our Renato just looping this as tightly as possible, trying to see if they can get the body block. Very interesting not going for the ace, considering that he would have been a fresh hook. Very, honestly, pretty interesting from our Hardmaster. I'm not gonna comment after I'm not in the game, but ace after all is worth way more stages than our Ada, so or Renato even. So yeah, I mean, again, not the one playing in the trial.
That seems to be the case, yes, but you do have to keep in mind that the ace was healthy. So if the Houndmaster decided to go for him, there might have been a chance where they were both able to escape, or at least one of them, with with the ace still being healthy and getting injured only from that hit. So it was a safer bet to go for the ace, or not the ace, the Renato there. Uh, and actually being 100% sure you're gonna get the maximum amount of stages there.
So this is gonna result in a 2-key 7 for Silhouette's killer here. We're gonna come back with the next game after a short break. Hello everyone, welcome back to our Houndmaster sets between Silhouette and Sauna. This time with Sauna on the killer. We do see here the build switched up this time. We've got Noed instead of Dragon's Grip here, which, considering the win con here, is actually a very good choice here. Trying to perhaps get the win con a bit later during the game, which honestly can happen. We do see here a pretty interesting selection of add-ons. I'm surprisedly seeing the power cooldown add-on, considering that Houndmaster's power is pretty much back already after an M1. But again, I'm not the one playing the trial, so I cannot really comment too much on too much on their build and add-on choices. Lucas, what do you think? Is our Hellmaster player gonna be able to get that win con for his team?
Well, well, I'm not really an Houndmaster player. I really, I really don't have any strong opinions about add-ons or the builds because honestly, I haven't really played her, and when I play against her, I very much dislike it. So I can't tell you about the build, but I definitely can tell you about how the beginning went. The beginning went a bit slower than the previous match, but still pretty fast, which seems to result in maybe a pain res. So it's definitely possible if the killer is gonna try and maybe delay the match for as oh, that is unlucky that they still got the gen with the pain res. That the killer is gonna try and delay the match as long as possible to maybe just secure a few stages before actually getting Noed to activate. That's my my guess, my humble opinion. But yeah, Yonder, I think if the killer is able to hold gens a bit stronger than the other killer, then it might definitely be possible.
I mean, obviously, I agree here. Noed will definitely help us out a lot here. If we even get to Noed, that is, maybe our Hamas is gonna play so well to the point where Noed will not even be needed. Extremely well prepared Hamas here, hugging that loop as well as possible. Do we see potential flash save? Not really. A bit unfortunate. A bit used to the flash saves that happen in our scrims. But yeah, we do have tap again on the hook, on the seal here, by the way, a very strong hook. But interesting, we're setting the dog to a dungeon, maybe a bit of a misplay from our Hellmaster here. But yeah, I mean, so far, our Hellmaster has been playing absolutely um, i- incredibly well. Just maximizing efficiency. Now, most likely going to go back to a hook. We do see the FTP come in play, which is honestly great. But for us here, we basically tap having an additional health state and seeing if we can get tap. Unfortunately, I think we did see tap drop earlier from the hill, but we are actually opting to go for Rebecca here, the FTP user. Bit of an interesting choice here. I would have personally tried and gone the tunnel as quickly as possible so I can make it a 3v1. But this is obviously a pretty good play here. Ooh, interesting usage of the dog here. Actually going for the dog, not necessarily to get the dog hit, but instead to go for the zoning. My bad. But in the background here, we do see two generators popping. Extremely crazy gen pressure by our survivors here. Silhouette absolutely cooking right now. Lucas, what do you think?
Well, I definitely agree with the cooking part. With oh, even the survivors taking a stealthy hit for the Rebecca. Um, it's definitely something else in this chase with just the mind games and the oh, the Atom is gonna go down here. That is quite unfortunate. But with the chase being played very well done by the Rebecca, I must say. With the gens in the background, the pressure is just cooking overall. It's definitely a bit of a higher pressure match for the killer. I assume they're aware of what is what's going on in the match, but it does seem like the killer might have overcommit the Rebecca a bit in the beginning. Other than that, it's been very well played by both sets, honestly, by the survivor and the killer. And the Rebecca going down here is actually quite rewarding. At least I assume for the killer, because after such a long chase of trying to get the Rebecca to go down, you finally get her in in an unexpected corner of the map. That would probably feel good for the killer. Um, but Rebecca is not a ton of. You get a pain res out of her, which is good, but is it worth it with this? Because you kind of have to go for the tunnel out here. with somebody. You see somebody stealthing there. It's the Ace, who also might not be the best target right now to chase, due to the fact that you need to actually get someone out of this game at this stage of the match. At least that's what you would prefer to do. Don't you agree, Yonder?
I think at this point in the game, going for a tunnel out is kind of at this point a bit of a waste of time here. Sure, it would have been pretty good earlier, but right now, at this point, going for flushes is definitely the play. We do actually get it down on Ace here. Beautifully played by Hardmaster here. The 100 after starting the dog definitely coming in play here. We also gonna get a Painless. Yes, we have Painless here, and I think we have all flushes. Yes, we have all flushes here. Our Hardmaster definitely getting extremely close to the win con she needs to get. Absolutely beautifully played by Hardmaster. Generally cannot say much more. Trying to see if we have anyone stealthing as a tile and using the killer instinct. We do not have anyone there, but we do see the Squash Mouse going toward the shack side of the map. Are we gonna get someone here? Unfortunately not. We do see our Adam here perfectly staying in that corner, denying the dog grab. Unfortunately, our dog here decides to not start the cooldown and also surfing to the basement. Definitely an interesting play by the dog here, not by a Hellmaster player. But yeah, we have the body block coming through. I suppose interesting. We're slowing down the body block. Oh, actually, wait a second. Actually, our dog here absolutely cooking for Hellmaster here. Oh, but wait. Now we have Noed, even with BL. That is actually very unfortunate. We did not get the BL value here. We have Noed in play. If our Hellmaster is quick enough to get that, if our Hellmaster is quick enough to get this hook down, this could actually be the win con. If it's not already, I'm actually not sure. I think it should be though. If our Adam, if our Adam dies here, yeah. Wait, actually, now that I'm thinking, yes, she should win this. If she should win this if our Adam dies here. Trying to see if anyone's close to the hook here. Obviously playing as safe as possible, wanting to get that win con. Lucas, what do you think about this game? I think it was pretty interesting. Both sides played incredibly well.
I do think with the matches being played, I think they were played very well, indeed. I think the killers played it a bit differently in terms of actual gameplay, with the first killer going for the tunnel out, and the other killer going for the fresh stages instead, which seems to be sort of rewarding here, honestly. But what also seems to be the case is that the fact that the survivors did seem to be able to rescue the Atom, but they sacrificed the tap for it, which would still result in a win for the killer in this match. So yeah, which does seem to be a set win for Sauna here. Other than that, it's well played by all of them. It's the survivors leaving, the the Rebecca getting the hatch, and yeah, well played.
Very well played by both teams here. We're gonna come back after a short break with our Death Singer sets, so be sure to check those out as well. Hello everyone, welcome back to Silhouette vs Sauna, this time around with the Death Stinger here on the Sappho 1. Sappho 1 pretty much the map Death Stinger is mostly played on. We do see here the pretty much the most basic build you can run at the moment, and obviously one of the best. We've got Agitation for those hooks, and obviously for the Painless. And then we have Eruption for that extra slowdown on the kicks. Obviously Cigar and Reload, which are pretty much the only add-ons Slinger players run. We do have the very funny Spectator bug. Once again, I absolutely love this one. It's like he's ADSing everywhere on the map, which, to be fair, if you do, pretty based. So, We do see here an absolutely beautiful shot by our Slinger here, obviously getting that cigar value, quickly reloading, and this will be a pretty good quick down if our Slinger plays this well, or if our tap here fucks this up, which sadly it happens. Very unfortunate for our survivors here, which pretty much results in a basement hook. So unless our survivors here decide to trade this for some reason, or unless our killer doesn't really won't care about this hook, this would be pretty much a guaranteed death and already a kill my bad a kill very early in the game. Lucas, this was a very crazy start. Do you think our Stinger can capitalize on this and actually get the 4K?
Well, it does seem. I start my things with, a lot with well. Probably. I cannot speak. Well, it certainly seems like the Deathslinger is gonna try to capitalize on the basement hook here, with him holding it tightly, not letting survivors get away from him. Which does seem to be the case here, with the tap going down again, and the Rebecca not being able to stop it at all. It does look like the Deathslinger is trying to get an injure on the Rebecca, which does not seem to be the case here. Quite unfortunate for him. However, it does look like he is gonna get second stage on the tap at 5 gens remaining. That is very unlucky for the survivors. It looks like, oh, there we do see the first gen popping. It does look like the Deathslinger is gonna try and very much use this very early down and basement down to his advantage here. If he can hold it, it's definitely gonna be game changing here. Yonder, do you think he should maybe stay at basement right now with the pressure he has, or should he try and maybe go a bit more aggressive to put a bit more aggressive pressure on the people? Oh, we do see the Rebecca here.
Considering his gen setup around the bottom side of the map, which is pretty much a 3 gen, oh, absolutely nasty hits from our
Nasty.
Slinger here. Absolutely nasty. We do have this incredible bottom side gen setup, so unless our Slinger decides to go for some eruption kicks here and there, there's pretty much no reason for him to leave this area. Although we do see that generator pop, actually a very good pop for our survivors here, although there's still a pretty tight there's still a pretty tight gen setup around here. But we do see the tap go next here, which basically which results in a 3v1 already. This is very bad for our survivors here. Not only do we have a 3-gen setup on the bottom side of the map, and by the way, very good find by our killer here, but we also have a chase that's going to the top side of the map, good, but then we have agitation to go back to the bottom side, so this is not necessarily bad for our killer here to commit this, but are we actually going to get that down quickly, or will we need to leave this? We do see our Singer here playing this very patiently, not going for any crazy shot here. The zoning here, absolutely beautifully played, knowing when to ADS, knowing when to leave the ADS. Absolutely wonderful stuff by our killer here. There is a clear showing of his skill here.
Well, it does seem that the Deathslinger is very skilled with 2 gens remaining, 1 person being dead and on the hook, and with the snipes the entire match. I must say this match has been very interesting to watch. It's for sure been one of the better Deathslinger matches I've seen recently, and it's a bit of an unfortunate gen spread with the survivors being able to pressure gens top and bottom due to the fact that they popped top mid as well. Other than that, it should be fine for a Deathslinger if he can just try and put a bit of pressure on the Rebecca here, which he does seem to try and do, but I don't think the Rebecca's gonna let him do that so easily, especially with the pallet drop in Shack, just pre-dropping Shack pallet to prevent the down. With the Adam actually getting healed, and we do see the hit on the Rebecca here, which does seem to be the case. That is very well played by the Rebecca, making sure she actually jumps off the hill before getting the injury, so the jump off won't actually hinder her that much. But we do see the ace getting injured as well now, with the killer putting a bit more pressure on the survivors, even if the ace was trying to perhaps take a body block or drop the pallet for the Rebecca instead. It is looking a bit grim for our survivors right now. If they're gonna try to pop one or two more gens, maybe if the Atom doesn't get found, then it should be very much possible to do. Honestly, with the killer just right now trying to reset the pallet or just reset the pressure a bit with the pallets breaking and the gen checking. I believe he's checking to see where the Atom is. I'm not really sure what the killer is doing right now. Yonder, do you have any idea why the killer is going into basement?
Perhaps trying to find someone stealthing here, which, to be fair, I've seen a couple of times. So I was trying to stealth in the basement, since in some scenarios there's not really a lot of reason to check basement, but you never know. You never truly know. After all, this is competitive. You try to get that win no matter what. So even something as ridiculous as stealthing in basement can be a play here. We do see, I was thinking, definitely being 100% convinced that there's still someone here. To be fair, I have no idea if someone's here. So I will definitely trust will definitely trust his instincts here. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking here playing this way more passively than the early game, trying to get the eruption kicks in, and definitely trying to secure this the 3 spread, since after all, this is an incredible setup for him. We do have, I think there's one generator left top. Yeah, that should be the main generator, which will most likely be done very shortly. We do see the Rebecca here stealthing, trying to get to the bottom side of the map, but not really getting, unfortunately. Slinger missing here, obviously going back and obviously gonna go back and protect the generators. Although we did see, if I'm not mistaken, the ace. Yes, we see the ace here. So this this could easily be a tag. Yes, this would be a tag here. Gonna get the cigar value, obviously. Gonna reload quickly and perhaps even get a quick down if you're lucky. And we are, oh my god, absolutely beautiful play by Stinger here. What a clean 2-tap, what a clean eruption proc. Our Stinger absolutely on fire right now. Combining both aggressive and defensive playstyles, I can certainly say that this is, I think, one of the best Stinger games I've ever watched.
It definitely has been, yeah. The Deathslinger has certainly shown his his abilities with the killer. We do see the Rebecca going for the unhook here with the ace trying to make it away, but we do see that the Deathslinger patiently waits. However, we do see the Ada taking a tag for the ace. Is Tap gonna be able to pop a gen in the meantime while the Ada and the Ace are having a bit of a showdown with the killer here? Rebecca going to hold W and dodging the shots from the Deathslinger here, but the Deathslinger kind of whiffed his hit here. But it does look like the the Rebecca is gonna go down. That is quite unfortunate for the team, because Rebecca might still be a pain res. And yeah, she is. She actually is a pain res. That is unfortunate to see. This will most likely result in a 4K. Don't you agree, Ander?
I mean,
Oh.
considering how our killer is playing right now, considering that, I would say a pretty limited gen progress, unless we have a lot of progress here. This is like 50%, so I can say there's not gen progress on the map. but definitely way lower than what our survivors would need right now to get out of this very bad situation. I would say again, very early 3v1, very early, not very early, but very bad gen setup. This was pretty much a recipe for disaster for our survivors here. But yeah, this should pretty much be a 4 year unless something crazy happens from our survivors. I don't know, maybe they just cast a spell and, pop a generator. I don't think this should be anything less than a 4Q1. Maybe, I don't know, an out if our Slinger is unlucky. But again, this will mostly depend on how both sides play this out, considering that tight gen split, 3v1, and our Slinger definitely being on top of his game.
That is very much the case, yes, as you say, Yonder.
Unfortunately here, although this is definitely more of a passive state of the game, this unfortunately results in our Singer kind of just checking generators, not necessarily something interesting going on at the moment. But I would actually like to point something out here. Although currently something that my bad. Although currently there's not something going really interesting going on, um, this definitely has to be played way more slowly for our survivors. There's most likely survivors on the generator on top side, which fair enough, it's the only really safe gen they can pop. And as I'm speaking, they definitely popped it. Very well done by our survivors, but sadly, I think this is where the gens will stop until the game is over. We do see the Rebecca trying to get that very long range injury, although I think our count does not have this kind of range here. Again, I was thinking of just being very defensive on the generators, not giving a single chance for our survivors to. Oh my god! Speaking of basement stealth earlier, this is an incredible find.
Is
Wow.
insane, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, like I was saying earlier, anything is possible in anything, any kind of wacky play we think, top skin, for example, that is nonsensical really. In competitive, it might actually work, and it could even be a game-changing play. But unfortunately, not obviously not being the case here for the Adam. Getting found extremely well done by our singer here again, playing this so well, so patiently. Like our singer definitely came in today and said, you know what? I'm gonna show off, and I'm definitely gonna show what I'm capable of, and why I am playing competitive Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, it definitely is a very rare find, like a shiny Pokemon in the basement. It does seem like the survivors have definitely been pressuring the gens while the killer was kind of rummaging around in the basement looking for the tap. Ooh, we do see the snipe miss, unfortunately. We've seen a lot of good snipes in this match, however, that one unfortunately did not hit. Uh, that could have been a hit. Oh, with the killer actually getting the injure on the Rebecca. That is well done, well done. Is he gonna commit it though? Yeah, it does look like he's gonna commit it on the Rebecca, but he does miss the hit. That is unfortunate. Um, is he gonna? Yeah, he's gonna try it, but it's not gonna work. The Rebecca is just too fast, and she's running right into him. That is definitely definitely not the best play you wanna put on here. Um, but it does seem like the survivors have been able to reset. Rebecca is only on second stage. There is still a coming back from this, honestly. Yonder, do you think the survivors can come back from this?
Unfortunately, again, considering the gen splitting and seeing how well our singer is playing right now, I don't think there's a real chance of comeback here unless the generator has so much progress to a point where it doesn't really matter for Kira anymore. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We reapply eruption on the generator. Like that's what I was talking about earlier in the Howmaster game. Eruption is just such a great buff for these scenarios. Like imagine for our first Howmaster for a Silhouette's killer if they had Eruption instead of Dragon Script. Sure, Dragon Script gave us value, but it wasn't enough value to the point where it would win the game. Eruption right now is delaying this game so much, constantly getting that 10% regression every time a survivor gets downed. Absolutely insane perk. Everyone thought that, oh, removing the incapacitated effect from the perk will kill it, but no, it shows that the spell wasn't used just because of the incapacitated, but it was used because it was just a generally great perk. So again, our Slinger playing very well. Our Adam here is just buying as much time as possible for his teammates. Although, is Slinger gonna pick up? Yes, we are actually gonna pick up, although initially we weren't. Definitely, I would say this is probably. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, considering the state of the game right now, this is probably the best our Adam could have done here. So, oh my god, excuse me, my
They,
bad
they
for
must have. They must have
yeah,
doubled the gen, yeah.
yeah. I mean, my bad for speaking earlier about tight gen setups and eruption. Well, I guess that doesn't really matter anymore. My bad. I apologize. But damn, that was surprising. I didn't expect it at least. Very well done by our survivors here.
Yeah.
Getting that. Wait, are we gonna get a 40-0? Is it gonna be a 40-0 or a or is it gonna be like a 3k something, maybe 3k10, 3k11 here? But damn, whoa, like again, so surprised to have that generator pop. Absolutely wonderful bar survivors here. Lucas, did you expect that comeback? I didn't. That
Did
comeback
not.
on the generators?
Honestly, I didn't expect this. I mean, yeah, it's an option for them to double the gen. However, I personally did not expect them to be able to do that. It is always quite nice to see something unexpected happen in a match. As we can see right now, with the survivors even being able to maybe get a person out with previously it looking kind of grim. So it's definitely something that has kind of made my day a little better, just seeing a surprise like this with everything that's going on. But now it depends on who you're gonna find. There's 3 hook stages left, with the Ace having 2 and the Rebecca having 1. So it's definitely a bit more of an interesting play here. And it does look like the Rebecca has been found here. That is quite annoying. Ooh. And we get a quick scope on the Rebecca into the Mori. That is very well played indeed.
Very well played by our killer here. Sonos killer here, getting the 3k10. Absolutely incredible stuff here. I would just say this. I did not expect that comeback, but very well played by Silhouette Survivors. We're gonna come back with Silhouette's killer. Let's see if they can come back and get into the tiebreaker. Hello everyone and welcome back to what could be the last game of tonight, with this time with Silhouette on the killer. And I would just say, out of pure personal preference, I hate this weapon. So an automatic L from me. But obviously we're gonna go into this game as strong as possible and see if we can get that win condition, so we can maybe perhaps go into the tiebreaker and actually get the win here. Definitely, obviously, the base build for Singer here, absolutely beautiful and simple. So yeah, this is pretty much the build that will give you the chance to get the win on here. Lucas, what do you think? Is Silhouette's killer here capable? Not capable, because I'm very sure he's capable, but is he gonna be able to actually get the win con this time?
Um, with the I want to say yes. However, with this weapon, choice, I'm also gonna say that it's a bit more difficult for me to speak positively of this with the fashion choices being made here, um, being questionable to say the least. I'm sure Deathslinger has some of the lesser known skins, but it should still be there should still be some better options. However, we're not here to discuss fashion choice. We are here to discuss the match. And as the match, I'm gonna say that this first chase has been going a lot slower than the chase from the other Deathslinger. So it's definitely something else, if I have to say so myself. It's quite it's taken quite a bit, honestly. And that is definitely something you don't want to have as an M1 killer because, well, uh, it takes a lot of time to cross the map, and it also just takes a lot of time to get to places, which is probably why he chose Painter's, which is a very safe. Oh, that is unfortunately a miss. A very safe perk, to say the least. But yeah, as we see the first gen popping when the chase. Oh, sorry, two gens. My apologies. I did not see that. I am blind. Um, with the first chase being ended at three gens remaining, it does look like it's gonna be a bit more grim for this killer to actually get the win con that they need. Yonder, do you have anything to say about this killer and not the killer's fashion choice?
Well, obviously, like you said, we're not here to discuss fashion choices, but we still can have our own opinion, which currently, at least, it doesn't really matter. We're here to discuss the game, and at this point, this is looking pretty grim for a killer here. Obviously, because of the weapon. Okay, I'm joking. Let's stop with the weapon jokes here. We sadly have our first tag at 3 generators remaining, and a beautiful shot though. If we got beautiful shot, definitely gonna slow down Renato a bit here. But then we look a bit at the overall game situation here. And although we already got the hook on Jonah, this is not looking too bright. Like, you've got 3 more generators to go. Our survivors definitely gonna grind those generators as fast as possible, but we're actually deciding to commit to a not top, my bad, to a bottom side tunnel out. Oh my god, what a precise play by Jonah here. Not really caring about the fact that our slinger could have just not shot, he could have just M1. But damn, I mean, that was a beautiful play by Jonah. And actually, I would say our killer is definitely playing this a bit interestingly. Like, we are not staying topside for those 3 generators. Actually, 4 if you really think about it. Instead we're going to the tunnel out on the bottom side of the map. I mean, this must be a pain res. Yes, this is a pain res, but like, this is just a very interesting choice. Like, you're not defending your generators with eruption. Instead, you're gonna decide to commit to a bottom side tunnel out, which could have taken even longer if our Jonah could have somehow played that even better than he already did. Our Renato here dodging very beautifully. So yeah, I mean, Lucas, what do you think? Do you think that committing to the Jonah tunnel out on the bottom side of the map was the right play here?
Well, I'm saying it again. I'm saying well again. Just at this point, just throw me in a well. Other than that, yeah. I think the killer has been kind of making all the wrong decisions this match. Not just in terms of gameplay, but also in terms of just positioning and actually choosing the chases. It seems as if the killer has decided that today is gonna be well, kind of a wrong choice day with how everything's going so far. Other than that, I really have no opinion. The killer is doing obviously doing his best, and he's trying his hardest. Maybe it's not. Maybe this killer is just not made for this specific killer. You know, maybe the player is not actually made for the killer, but it does look like he's gonna get it down here. Is it gonna be pallets that is safe though? No, it doesn't seem like it. They did mess up the pallets save a little bit, which should work in their favor. Ooh, he did miss the unfortunate shot on the Quinton. Shouldn't be too big of a deal, but he is actually going to the Jensen's, knowing that Quinton was nearby. That is gonna be unfortunate since the last gen did pop. They're gonna be able to get the gates. That is a very unlucky hit as well. I well, I'm definitely I've definitely enjoyed this match. It's been very good to watch, you know, just even if it's a bit of a less experienced Death Slinger, it's been an enjoyable match. There's been some good moments, there's been some funny moments, and also bad ones, but that shouldn't stop anyone from just enjoying the game, trying to do their best, and just try to survive. So it's definitely been enjoyable so far. That's all I'm gonna say for now. Yonder, if you have anything else to add in this end game, then yeah, that's for you to do.
I mean, obviously, this is pretty much a guaranteed out for our survivors here, and pretty much a secured win for Sauna. Absolutely beautifully played by their team. Absolutely incredible performance. However, I would like to say one thing: both teams played very well. Both teams deserve their praise. Just because this game was just because this game was a bit rough for Silhouette's side here doesn't mean they didn't try their absolute best of getting that Mori to kind of just make the feeling of losing a bit more acceptable here. But obviously they tried their absolute best. Both teams played incredibly well, tried their absolute best to get the win. And yeah, I mean this is gonna be the end. It's gonna be the end for our casting here, and I cannot wait to see you guys for another set.